Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing? I just got back from Sedona yesterday, so I've been in Sedona for the last little while. It was a vibe. It was a vibe. How we doing out there, though? Number one chill spot land. It's nice to be back, hanging out. I'm in the mood to make some videos. So I was like, hey, let's come up with some of our next video topics together, because this is the number one chill spot on the internet. It's more of a community thing. So I was like, why not we just do this together? Have some tea. Then after we come up with these ideas, I'm gonna go out into the mountains and solidify those ideas, and then come back and record them tomorrow. I see who we got in the building. We got Ty Gruber, who says Sedona is his second home. Man, Sedona energy crazy. Sedona energy is crazy. Let me say that. I didn't know. When I was in Sedona, it was as if like there was just no thoughts in my mind unless I prompted a thought. The mind was clear. Energy is different in Sedona. Different. I love it. I got to go back there. I was there for some like business creator workshops, which was cool. Met some cool people, good connections. It was fun. It was nice. I enjoyed it. But we're back now. We're back in Vancouver, BC, Canada. Now I had a new acquaintance of mine, maybe I'm gonna call him a new brother of mine, sent me a bunch of tea, a bunch of pure teas, lots of tea. I got brother sent me 30 of these, so we can have some tea. This one is from Yunnan, China. This one's good for energy, strength, and creation, which I think that is the season that we are in right now. We are definitely in a season of energy, strength, and creation, because I'm in the mood to create some things, you understand? I made a video a while ago saying I want to quit being a YouTube creator, and what I was saying is I wanted to quit the demand of being a YouTube creator. Like, if I don't want to be here, I'm not going to be here. If I want to be here, I'm going to be here. You understand? Now, I know that may seem a little inconsistent, but I don't know. That's just the flow right now. So I may be here every day sometimes. Then you may not see me for a month. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how it is. But I think in 2025, we're going to have quite a bit of content. Feeling inspired, Feeling inspired. Who else do you have in the building? Okay, we got buds and brushes. Let me fix my little mouse pad here. We got buds and brushes in the building. We got Brian in the building. Whose birthday it is? Okay, it's somebody's birthday. Do you know of Joe Dispenza? Yeah, I do know of Joe Dispenza. I've never been to one of Joe Dispenza's retreats, but while I was in Sedona, someone was telling me to check out Joe Dispenza's live talks. Whose birthday is it? I want to make sure I say happy birthday. I see someone's birthday in the building. So whoever's birthday it is, let me know so I can shout you out, because it's your birthday, it's your Earth Day. You understand? Another year. It's beautiful. We're all timeless though. Right? We all timeless. That's what Prince used to do. Prince, people would ask Prince, how old are you? And he'd be like, I'm timeless, baby. That's where I got that from. I swagger jacked Prince. I was like, people would be like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm timeless, baby. I'm timeless. You understand? Prince says that's why he didn't age. That's why he stayed looking so fresh. So I was like, I see you, my brother. I see you. We're going to have a little bit of tea today. Oh, it's CRN's McGuckin's birthday. So shout out to you. My apologies if I mispronounced your name. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. How are you feeling on this birthday? What are you going to be doing for your birthday? Are you a big birthday celebrator, or are you chill? I'm like a very chill birthday type of celebration. Like, a lot of people aren't even going to know it's my birthday, Like, I'm not somebody that makes a big deal out of my birthday. But I was at this nice little nori sushi restaurant the other day. And the design, the elements in there, just the whole environment was fire. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to book this place out for my birthday and invite 24 people, because you can have 24 people. Now I'm like, do I even know 20? Yeah, of course I know 24 people. But maybe this year I will celebrate my birthday, right in 2025. I don't know. I haven't celebrated a birthday in a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long time. Last year, my buddy dragged me out to the nightclub. I was like, it's not my vibe, but we still went out. So how are we feeling? You know, it's November. It's November. We're closing 2024 up. Thank God. I don't know. I'm just excited for a new year. Like, I'm excited for 2025. I'm always like I romanticize New Year's. Hopeless romantic when it comes to New Year's. Like, it's a new year, it's a new me. Why not? You understand? We have to be optimistic in life. Realistic as well, but optimistic. Because if we're not optimistic, if we don't keep hope, who's going to do it for us? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Plus, optimism, positive energy, it's contagious, you know? It becomes a part of your aura. Nobody wants to be around a Debbie Downer all the time. You understand? I'm a hopeless romantic when it comes to a brand new year. And dreams. I'm always a dreamer. I keep on dreaming. We never stop dreaming. None of that. We are drinking a black tea today. This one is from Yunnan, China, called Lin King. Oh, it's called, yeah, this is a nice ripen. So let me show you. These are the purees, right? So these teas usually come in these big chunks like this. Let me see if I can get that focus for you guys. It might not focus because my face is in it. Okay, I just realized I'm gonna have to get a third camera for my setup so y'all can like, I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna get another angle for the tea angle, just for the tea. But yeah, this is a black tea puree. Y'all know me, I love mine. These are very expensive. No, I'm not gonna say very expensive. You more so spend a little bit more on these because they're like, you know, they're just divine. They're just divine. We got Keeping Up with Kat in the building who says, let the creativity flow without the pressure of demand, but creating for you. Yeah, that's the season I'm in. It's not really the best, like, for business. Like, I mean, if you want to optimize business, it's really like, you know, do it for others and do it as much as you can. But right now we are optimizing ourselves, because when we optimize ourselves, we become our best selves, or at least better versions of ourselves. Because what is our best self? You know, there's no such thing as our best self, because there's always room to grow, and we're not self-improvement junkies, but we are inspired by our own growth. But we're optimizing ourselves this season so we can step into the things that we are doing with purpose, you know, filling those positions and, you know, rediscovering our North Star, why we do what we do, you know, where are we going? If you're in a season with no purpose, then I often say your presence has purpose. Sometimes I've been in places in life where I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, what my North Star was, until I realized I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I may not have this like grand purpose at the moment, but my presence in this season has purpose, right? Some seasons we are discovering our purpose. And I love that. Like I always say in the reminder deck, a breakthrough is about to come. Look at that. That's crazy. That was literally the card that was right there. Come on, that's like divine alignment. Y'all know that. I swear that wasn't planned. That was right there. But it says a breakthrough is about to come. So sometimes when we're struggling for purpose or clarity, I always remind myself, when we're struggling for clarity, that is a sign that our breakthrough will soon come. You understand? Our breakthrough will soon come. So sometimes you just have to submit and be and experience, you know. That's what it was like. You know, I just was exploring America, going to, man, you know what? I really have like a newfound appreciation for the United States of America, for just how diverse the land is. Now, I've driven down the whole West Coast, right on the coast, beautiful, from Oregon to California, all the way to the desert and Joshua Tree. I've driven down to Arizona on 2 different highways and back. And the landscape of America is amazing. Now, the cities are cool too, right? But I much prefer the natural beauties and the views and just the amount of like mountains and terrains and forests and deserts and red rocks. And then it's just crazy to me. And I'm like, I now want to buy like a Sprinter van, a camper, and like, every year go on a big road trip through America. Because I live 20 minutes from the border. So it's just like 30 minutes from the border. And that is something I want to do. So I told my daughter yesterday, I'm like, yo, I'm going to buy a camper and we going on a big ass road trip. It's going to be a vibe. But yeah, I love America. Just newfound appreciation for America. For a while, I'm not going to lie, I was hating a little bit, but I realized, America is awesome. I love it. I'm glad that I'm just like 30 minutes away from it. Okay, so we got a little bit of our tea right now. How we doing in the building? 12 says what our creator created. Yeah, that's true. You look at that and you're just like, wow, you be creating, Ja. That's crazy. No, but the colors too, like I'm driving, as I'm like going through different areas, I'm just like, the natural color palettes are like chef kisses. I'm like, just, the grain of it and the colors and they're all blending. I'm like, it's so freaking beautiful. It's so freaking beautiful. I love it, man. Like, I just absolutely love it. And that shit free. Except for some of the national parks, they actually do be charging you to go into, but regardless, like, majority of it is free. Majority of it is free. If you drinking on some tea today, let me know what kind of tea you drinking on. We got our tea from all the way from Yukon, China. Shout out to my boy Anoa. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And it's just a beautiful Monday, Sometimes Mondays feel like a lot of pressure because you're like, it's the beginning of the week. We got to get it. And if I'm not too organized on Monday, I really just use Monday as a day to set the tone in the right direction. Instead of stepping into the week with an anxious spirit and all this pressure. Pressure can make diamonds, but you have to have the wisdom to know when it is time to apply pressure and when it is time to relieve yourself of that pressure, or else you start to crush your spirit, right? Like, pressure makes diamonds, but too much pressure will crush that diamond. So we want to make sure that we're not crushing ourselves. So as this is steeping a little bit, I'm going to be making some new videos because I'm inspired to make some new videos. I feel like I've just poured into myself a lot with all the beautiful views and everything like that. So I want to know from you, maybe what should we talk about in the next upcoming videos? What do you want to talk about in the next upcoming videos? Let me know in the chat. Amelia says, how do I know if I'm being used? You're gonna feel it. You should know if you're being used, right? If it doesn't feel right, if someone is always constantly taking, if your engagements with them feel transactional, if at times you ask for something and it seems like they're not there, but they come knocking on the door anytime they need something. Now, let's understand, some people aren't equipped to go through certain things with us. Some people may not be equipped in the season to support us in the way we need, and that's all right. It's like, I won't go to certain people with certain problems. You understand? Like, if I'm having some financial issues or I need some financial advice, I'm not going to my friend who is broke, who just spends all that money. You know what I'm saying? So not expecting everything from everybody is very important, but you're going to know you're being used in your heart. Like, it just doesn't feel good, right? You can feel that person is not there for you. And you got to create some boundaries or literally just step away. But ask yourself, how do I feel? Ask yourself, is this person there for me when I need them in the same ways I am there for them, you know? So let's do some brainstorming. Let's do some brainstorming. I'm going to switch up the sound. Shout out to Kalu's Cafe Trumpet Meditations. That's what I'm playing right now. Kalu's Cafe. Someone said how to make decisions. Oh, my God. You know, one thing I struggle with is decision fatigue. I hate when I have to make too many decisions in a day. Okay. Shanta says realistic goal setting. And we can also brainstorm, because listen, we can also brainstorm and also share value on these together. So the information is coming from all of us and not just what I think. You know, I'll do my best to give my best perspectives, but also after I write some of these down, we're going to go over a couple of these together, and I'm going to take more of the information and then I'll wrap it up into a video because I'm a good translator. Someone says, oh, cooking like a Heinz chat while we making food. It is a great idea, but at the moment, cooking like a Heinz chat, making cooking video. I mean, I think that'd be a really good live stream. So one day, you know, what I'll do is, the only thing is then I have to bring all my equipment to my house. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, sometimes I'm a lazy creator. It's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like even setting up a tripod some days. That's why I like coming into my studio and I just turn everything on. But it is a great idea. And I think one day maybe like a cooking live stream while we're just hanging out would be quite fun. So I'm going to write that down, but that's not on the immediate list. Someone says how to take that leap for yourself. That's actually something I'm very good at. So how to take that leap for yourself. Okay, that's actually really good because I'm pretty good at that. Emotional regulation. I actually think that's something I'm pretty good at as well. Very rare you see me step out of character. Okay, what else do we got in here? Man, we got a lot of stuff. Alone versus loneliness. Yeah, that's a good one. Sometimes I struggle with that conversation because I was actually saying this to somebody I met out in America. How because I grew up with a lot of time alone, that being alone rarely ever feels like I'm lonely. Now, I think if I would have grown up with like a lot of family around and people in the house, then maybe I would have, when I'm alone, I'd feel more alone because I'd be used to the presence of others. But because I grew up, you know, single mother and me, my father's in a whole other province, no other family around. I grew up quite alone. So I got comfortable with being alone to where being alone does not feel like I am lonely. So I'm going to try my best to talk on this one because I don't want to talk through it from my bias, right? Because I'm coming with a little bit of bias, like for me just to say, oh, like, well, you know, so maybe this is one that we can generate some more ideas together. Someone says, when everything is going wrong in your life, shaking up big time now, how do you stand firm? Well, I can definitely speak on that because life has been lifing and your boy's still standing strong, you understand? So that reminds me, Buds and Brushes of Popcorn, Firm and Strong. Firm and Strong, Popcorn. That's a good song. How do you hold firm? Trusting intuition. / yourself. I think that's a good one. Right? Because it's like sometimes like we go and we trust our intuition, and then it's almost as if our intuition lied to us, and we're like, yo, what's good? Like I thought, what? And so then we lose trust with ourselves, because then like we've seen ourselves guide ourselves into the wrong situations. So I think that's a really good conversation. If anybody's drinking some tea out there, cheers. Digital cheers. Cheers. You know, we tea drinkers over here. We're not so much into the coffees. Now, if I have a coffee, I have a decaf, and I find a decaf is perfect for me with a coffee. A real, unless I'm like in Ethiopia or Kenya or like at a restaurant like that, then I'm gonna do a real coffee to respect the ancestors. You understand? But in reality, I much prefer my tea. I was in Sedona, and I said to somebody, I was like, yo, there's nobody that drinks more tea than me. And they looked at me like, I don't know, like they drink more tea. And I was like, bruh, it's like 1 p.m. and I've had like 7-8 cups already. And then they looked at me like, oh, okay, you got that. We got Amron here with the orange tea. Okay, shout out to Amron with the orange tea. Someone says, how to handle yourself when feeling lost. How to handle yourself. Can you explain that one a little bit more? How to handle? What do you mean by handle yourself? Like how to speak to yourself, how to treat yourself when feeling lost. I need a little bit more clarity on that one. Someone said mastering confidence and learning how to develop the ability to obtain whatever you desire. That's what Yesinia says. First off, love the name, beautiful name. Second off, I can tell you in a season where you about to get it. Want to master the confidence. Obtain our desires. Also, let's obtain what is for us. Also, let's really truly know where our desires are coming from, because some of our desires could be coming from a false source, and then we can attain it and then realize, oh, this isn't actually what I want, or this isn't the thing I was going to fulfill it. So it's really important that first we know the source of our desires, right? So we're not bringing things into our life that really shouldn't be in our life. So that's like, if you have a spiritual or religious umbrella, and often we say, you know, it's God's will, it's usually, okay, well, God knows best. So like, what would God want for us? Because that's really best for us as well. Versus, you know, when I was younger, I thought I wanted to be like the biggest music video director and all these type of things, and, you know, really flashy, you know, wanted to be super popular. Just realizing that, you know, the source of that wasn't really rooted in the right things, which is okay. Like, it's okay to go in a wrong direction. You know, how do you know what is the right direction unless you go in the wrong direction sometimes, you know? Like, we're figuring out where we're trying to go. We're floating on this big giant rock, and ain't nobody give us a full ass blueprint on how to live this life, because we're all so unique, you know? So I'm like just a firm believer and not just like beating ourselves down. Now, we don't want to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over and over and over, but mistakes are fine. Failures are fine. Pivots are fine, you know? Often we're more patient with others than we are with ourselves. And that's an interesting one. Often we are more patient with others than we are with ourselves. And if that is you, let's work on that one. Let's be a little bit more patient with ourselves. Being patient doesn't mean that we're excusing ourselves. It means that we're still being accountable and we're on top of things. But we gotta be patient with ourselves as well. You know, some of us are just crucifying ourselves every single day. It'd be crazy. Okay, how do you get the confidence to present projects and speak your mind in front of people? This is actually, this is a good one, because I am somebody who really struggled with that in the past, and now I'm a lot better at that. So how to get the confidence, speak mind. So when I was just in Sedona at these creative workshops, I was like the only creative type there. Everybody else there was like really businessy type of people. So often, in some of these workshops, when we were talking about things, I had the contrarian perspective. And I would say like 10 years ago, I probably would just shut up and not say anything. But, I was able to communicate my perspective with a lot more confidence. And that's a skill that we can all just mold and harness and craft. So very possible. Someone says, how can I be at peace with the slow seasons? I love that because it's a slow season for me. It's such a slow season for me. I have people messaging me who I don't even know, asking me if I'm all right, right? Because people assume if I'm not posting that I must not be all right. But often it's the other way around as well. I'm actually good. I mean, we did go through some rough stuff, but we here, we standing, we firm and strong, like Popcorn says. How can I be at peace with slow seasons when it comes? It feels like I should be doing more. Yeah, so this is actually what I've been going through, where I'm really deconstructing the idea of I always have to be doing something. And I felt in my spirit like a couple of weeks ago, and it told me, learn how to pause, right? The power of pause. Pause doesn't mean you're stopping. It means you're just pausing. So when you pause something, it means you will go again, right? But like oftentimes when things get slow, or we're supposed to be in a season where we slow down, sometimes we miss that message and we hit fast forward. And now we're experiencing a lot of resistance. And this is a good one. We can speak on this one. But how do I focus on being content in that space? So what I find and what I've been finding is re-identify, like instead of finding value in outcomes, right, and numbers and metrics or whatever you're used to when it's a faster season, you're finding value in different things in that season where it's slower, right? Whatever that may mean for you. So it's collaborating the intention and what you're expecting out of that season. If it is a slow season, you may not expect the same amount of money you were making 6 months ago. If it's a slow season and you're a creator, don't expect the same amount of views. Instead, expect maybe more introspection, maybe more time with family, maybe more time by yourself, doing the things that you often don't get to do when you're so busy, right? Because you're going to get busy again. You're going to get so busy again where you have excuses to not see friends, excuses to not see family, excuses to not go to the gym because you're like, I have so, it's going to get busy again. So in those slower seasons, it's really about, for me, identifying I am in a slower season. And if I try to fast forward in this season, I am not honoring this season. It's like trying to plant a mango tree in the wintertime in Vancouver, BC. It's just not the right soil, right? So what is the soil for the season that you are in? I was just in Sedona. I was just, I didn't open my computer for 4 days. I can't remember the last time I didn't open my laptop for 4 days. That would only happen for me in a slow season. And guess what? I loved it. So I found value in the fact that I'm not opening my laptop versus 6 months ago, I'd be like, you didn't open your laptop? What are you doing? You lazy bum. So a slower season, you're first ask yourself, what should I, maybe I was going to say, ask yourself, what can I discover in this season? But also sometimes you just don't need to force those answers. It's like, let it be, And don't compare yourself. Because the problem is sometimes when we're in a slower season, we're comparing ourselves with people who are in faster seasons and who are like reaping their harvests and they're blossoming. And then we're like, oh man, I ain't got nothing to talk about. I ain't got nothing to show. But it's not a season for you to experience all those fruits that are dropping from your hard work. Sometimes we're in seasons where we're just enjoying our friends blossoming and, we take it slow. I love that. Witness Wale says, Heinz is a creator that one can eat and drink too. Ooh, I like that. 12, he says, the seasons are for a reason. That's a bar. Someone says, how to find peace when a loved one has left the earth. Yeah, that recently just happened to me. I've been thinking a lot about the afterlife and aliens. Yo, y'all want to do like an afterlife alien stream like in the evening? I actually have a new idea for like a second channel, and it's going to be called Late Nights in Hindsight. And this is the channel where this channel is going to be dedicated to like, you come here, we can relax, we chill, we can inspire, we can connect, we can improve, we can laugh, we can whatever, all that stuff, good stuff. Second channel, Late Nights in Hindsight, will just be anything and everything. Anything that sparks my curiosity, me reacting to different things I see in streams, podcasts. Maybe we'll go on a rabbit hole down into the afterlife and aliens. Just anything and everything. I don't care. Late Nights in Hindsight. Pull up. That's going to be happening soon. Someone says, who Hines? Who transitioned? Well, I've said it already, and I don't like really talking about it, but my daughter's mom transitioned. She passed away, so that was something that we had to, and that called me into a slower season. Think about that. A lot of people, like I'm the last parent, and that called me into a very slow season, and I had to just honor that. And it's not easy when you go into a slow season. It's not easy when people, pass away. But we have to find ways to stay firm and strong and, appreciate those good times. And, at the end of the day, you have to grieve too. Like, there's no hack. I always say, like, you can't hack grief, Like, there's no hack. You got to go through it. There's, like, just a certain spectrum of emotions that grief will offer you, and you have to go through them. Now, you can ignore it, for sure. You can ignore it and, like, numb yourself, distract yourself. But at some point, it's going to come back and be like, all right, I still need you to go through this sadness. I still need you to go through this anger. All of that, So it just is what it is. So but my heart goes out to everyone who's lost someone recently or been thinking about people who have lost. And I think that's why I started thinking a lot more about like the afterlife. I'm very much somebody who's like, man, I'm in a human body. I'm going to experience being a human. So I try at times not to think too much into like the afterlife or other realms like that. But lately, I've just been very curious because I like to read near-death experiences on Medium. It's like a writing app or a writing website publication. And there's this one guy, I wish I knew his name. And I actually want to get him on the podcast one day. And he interviews people who had near-death experiences. And what I find interesting about near-death experiences are just how similar they are. Very similar experiences, right? So anytime I read these things, I'm always just like, I just get into these rabbit holes. So we're going to do like an alien afterlife. I don't know why I want to throw aliens in there too. It's just there's just been so much stuff about aliens online lately, especially with Congress doing the UAP hearings, talking about unidentified things, or now they're talking about like maybe these aren't even biological beings, but maybe these are interdimensional beings, right? Like if you think about AI, it's like AI has no body, so it's quite interesting. I never had a near-death experience, no, and I don't need one. I'm good. I'll stay in my body until it's time to go. Yeah, this is a great point. Carly Schultz says, you can't really hack grief and it's different for everyone. So that's something I've been learning as well, is you kind of have to honor everyone's grief. When somebody passes, everyone's not going to react the same. Everyone's going to react very differently and grieve in their own way. And you have to honor that and let that be, and not compare or judge either. So very interesting, right? And it's not like anyone could prepare you for losing somebody. It's not like you could study something and become a master and going through that experience. Some things in life, you just got to go through it to get through it. Hey, that was kind of a bar. Thank you for everyone that's sending some condolences my way. I appreciate it. Okay, so I think we got a lot of good ideas here. So I'm gonna go over some of the ideas that we just generated for next video. So one of the ideas was how to make decisions. So I imagine how to make decisions is, how to battle decision fatigue, how to know if we're going in the right direction, how to be more assertive. Okay. Realistic goal setting. And if any of these ones like really resonate for you, just say it in the chat so I can see like, okay, like we're all in communion together on some of these. So the other one was realistic goal setting, which probably aligns because we're moving at 2025. And I'm sure there's a lot of us that didn't accomplish certain goals we set out for ourselves in 2024, which that is absolutely factual for me. I did not complete everything that I wanted to do, but that's okay. Life was lifing. We have how to take that leap for yourself, right? So how to trust yourself, how to take that leap, how to go and how do you do something that's never been done before? Especially if you're met with resistance and opposition from others who say, what are you doing? How can you do that? We got emotional regulation. We have alone versus loneliness. What is being alone? What is being lonely? How to not be alone, maybe. And we have how do you hold firm when life is all the way messed up? Someone says, so Ty Gruber says, yes, to know we're going in the right direction is so hard for me to determine that and then commit to it. Yeah, it can be difficult, right? Because if you think about it, like we have like free will pretty much. And, there's so many different directions we can go in. And it's like, what do we apply all our energy to? Because we can only do so much in a day. And sometimes it's hard to make a decision, And like, I have a quota for every day, how many decisions I want to make. And then it gets to the point where I'll literally tell people, I'm not making many more, especially when it'll be like silly things. Someone will be like, hey, are you hungry? Yeah. What do you want to eat? If they say, I don't know, I'm like, well, I'm not making that decision for you right now. I've made 897 decisions today. I'm tapped out for today. But yeah, I realized in the last few months, having a North Star is really important, especially if you have a business or let's say you're a creator or anything and you're going to have a team around you. Having a North Star, a compelling vision, I just learned that one, is very important so your team knows the direction you're going in as well. And you have to constantly be injecting the vision into them and yourself, right? So having like weekly and like monthly sessions with yourself, like I actually have this folder, this document in my Notion, and it says my purpose, my philosophy, and my goals. And I'll read it in the mornings and inject my vision back into myself, because it's even difficult to remember our own vision sometimes, like why we are doing what we are doing. We get on the hamster wheel and now we just feel like we're going through the motion. So sometimes I like to reel myself back into my vision every morning to know, listen, this is why we get up. This is why we are breathing today. This is why we are overcoming our procrastination. This is why A, B, C, so we can equal D. And so having a North Star is important, but sometimes we're in a season where we are discovering our North Star, right? So that's where I say, in those moments, be present, be willing to learn, be willing to explore. And then when you have more information and you know what you want to do, apply mind, body, and spirit in that direction. And we can do it, right? We can do it. Gladstar says, can you make a video explaining this further? Yeah, this is actually what we're doing right now. So we're actually coming up with ideas together and about videos we're going to make. So next video is also Seems like the direction one is like one that's resonating for people. So I'm going to put a star beside that. How to make decisions and realistic goal settings. So that actually seems like one video. How to take that leap for yourself. We have emotional regulation, trusting intuition. I think trusting intuition also goes with how to make decisions. So that's one video. See how we're finding themes. For creators out there, when you're trying to find ideas, this works as well. If you actually just write the different problems you're going through in life or things that you're observing in other people's life and just jot them all down and then find the patterns and you realize like, oh, these 4 things are a video right here that I can speak on. Someone says how to handle yourself when feeling lost. That's another idea. How to get the confidence to speak mind. So how can I be at peace with seasons? That goes with how do I handle with feeling lost. So that's another one. If you could like sum up in like a couple words or one word or a sentence in like what in the season you're in right now, just put it in the chat. Like I've been in a season of pause and discovery, but more so discovery in a pause format. So I'm not forcing anything. I'm not going too fast. I've relieved all pressure of having to post, which is very hard. Let me tell you, like as a creator with like pretty good audiences on every platform, and when you're not posting and you see all your monthly views and everything dropping, it's a very vulnerable place to be. You know what I'm saying? But there is actually a lot of power as well when you're just like, listen, that's not the season I'm in right now. I'm in a season of pause. I'm in a season of rediscovering some things and, you know, generating energy, because I believe that our content should be a reflection of who we are, not the other way around, meaning that like when we pour into ourselves and we are standing firm, we can come online and bring the best of our energy and best of our insights. And if not, you know, things become stale and redundant, and now we're just doing things for what? An algorithmic process that gives us vanity metrics. No. We're not trying to live that life. So let's see. I'm going to have to make sure I write this down. Someone says, maybe we can add our why to a vision board so we can be reminded daily. Yes. I like that, Rosa O. The ultimate, so I call it the ultimate why, right? We can also call it our North Star. And know that your North Star can shift. Your why can shift, right? And it will. But then at least we have a direction that we're going in. And your why, your North Star doesn't have to be massive every season. It may be something smaller, and it's much simpler. Or maybe very big, very grand. Like one of my visions for these live streams in the future is for the money that we generate live streaming, when we figure out how to do that, is that I want like a good portion of that money to go into supporting one of the slums in Kenya. I don't have much details on that yet, but this is something I've been researching, because that's like a part of my ultimate why. I think the world should be embarrassed. I think the world did you know that 1.1 billion people in the world live in a slum? 1.1 billion. Imagine that. That's 1 in 6 people don't even have access. I know we know this, but like, I actually think we should be embarrassed by this. And it bothers me. So something I want to implement into my process is somehow finding a way, since it's a community effort, where when we are generating money in the future, it is also going into some of these causes that I feel very passionate about, quite passionate about. I'm not going to lie, because it really bothers me. When I travel and I see kids in the streets, it absolutely bothers me, because I'm like, man, this shouldn't be happening. Like as a world like this, we should be able to figure this out. So that's actually a part of my North Star. That's my ultimate why, but that's like a really grand vision, right? So like, that's just a part of it. And then under there's like different side quests and different missions and things like that. So you can have like big ultimate whys and little ultimate whys as well. So that's all in my purpose board that I read every single morning. We got Sessa. We got, sorry, I can't pronounce everyone's name. This is a beautiful name, though. Is in a season of pause and discovery also. But I think this has been a transition year. So I'm very much in alignment with you. James Dabadi says, I have a master plan that is a North Star that seems to change every 2-3 years. And again, I think it's supposed to. I think sometimes you may have a master plan that like you've pretty much envisioned the finish line from the beginning. But some of our master plans, like James here says, I think are like 2 to 3 years because it's supposed to get us to a certain point. And then once we get to that certain point, we realize this isn't the final destination, but we're closer. And now the vision shifts, pivots, and evolves. And now there's a new destination and we're on a journey, right? It's kind of like a scavenger hunt, right? When you're on a scavenger hunt, you don't know exactly where you are going, but you're picking up clues. Some people understand their master plan from the beginning. They know where they're going. Some of us, like myself, we go on like these 2 to 3 year spurts and that's all. Like we only know what we're doing for the next couple of years, and that's okay. Because then 3 years later, we pick up that next gem and the vision becomes more clear. And that's fine as well. I actually think that's quite a fun journey. I enjoy it as well. Getting comfortable with uncertainty. It's something that we have to do. I need more tea. Okay, let me see what else the seasons that people are in. Someone says, how do you let your decisions come from a place of peace and not from reaction? As this boils, it's going to be quite loud, so we're going to take a little sound break. Nice little beautiful boil break. Shout out to 12 for the boil break. That's officially what I'm going to label it. And maybe the boil breaks will be where I actually play some of my own sounds that I produced. We just created a new mini segment in collaboration with 12, who came up with the name. Shout out to you, 12, the boil break. Beautiful. I saw someone else said how to come out of a slow season. I like that because that's exactly what I'm doing. Which is like not a, for me at least, it's not like a flip of a switch. I've already kind of planned. So it's like a gradually gearing up. Because we want to prevent burnout, right? We want to prevent burnout. We stream in here at the #1 show spot on the internet. It's my favorite freaking thing to do, man. It's my favorite thing to do. Okay, let's we got Samar here. So good to catch you live. Thank you for being here. We got True Original presenting a big portion of my past as an offering for new blessings to come in. That's a beautiful season to be in. I like that. Amelia says, you said that nice. I said your name right. That's a beautiful name though. Absolutely beautiful name. The way it's spelled and everything. Nice. So many ideas here. James says, keep in mind, he's only 26. The master plan transitions seem to shift faster at a younger age. Yep, this is true, but they can also still shift as you get older as well. Like, you know, you hear people or see people on podcasts all the time at 40 years old, they have a complete pivot in position in life and do like a 180, right? Because we're growing, we're constantly evolving, we're changing, and understand we change with the times. Sarah says, how to stay positive while hunting in today's job market. It's been rough. Now, I'm not in the job market at the moment. I don't plan to be either, but I've been there and it's definitely been rough in the past, but I'm not actually sure what the job market is like right now. So maybe if anyone else can help Sarah in the chat, right? Because one thing I don't like to do is I don't like to come here and be like, I have all the answers, because I don't. We're also learning things together. So if there is anybody in the job market right now that has experienced some of the struggles, you know, just drop in the chat for Sarah. Some information, some values, some motivation. I could definitely speak to this topic and how to stay optimistic and positive. But because I'm not fully aware of how the job market is, I'm lacking some information on that, how that might fully feel at the moment in this economy, right? Because when I was more in the job market, I think the economy was probably in a better place. There was a lot of jobs, but I heard the job market right now is quite difficult. I would say one opportunity is now though, like we do have opportunities now to almost create our own jobs and like little side hustles. So while we're looking for a job, I would also be applying some of that time to developing skills, learning skills, since like anything we can learn is online now. And, you know, Anna says, I had the same struggle with the new job market, so hard as a new grad. I'd love some more information on how the job market is. So there's definitely a lack of jobs out there. I'm understanding, and probably coming out of school, it seems like the promise isn't being fulfilled, that maybe people are going to school and then as they finish, there aren't actually enough positions to be filled. Is that correct? Is that correct? I think it's really important. You know what I noticed while I was just in America is that like often people who work on social media, in social media or online, as myself, we can start to lack like a relatability and a little bit of perspective because we've taken our jobs online and then we forget how other realms are happening offline. And I realized that a little bit more when I was just in America right now. I was gaining perspective by talking to different people. And I'm like, oh yeah, man, like being online sometimes shelters you from some of the different realities happening. And I don't like that. So it's really important that I also ask questions sometimes. Someone says layoffs are also on the uptick. Really depends on the industry. Someone says, I thought that too. How can we cultivate a life that isn't career solely focused? Yeah, that is good. I like that because it's like everything's always career focused. I think everybody wants a sense of freedom, right? That's why we focus on careers. Like nobody wants to struggle, especially if you grew up in a home where finances was a struggle. You know, we all know how that feels, and it's like something you don't want to repeat for yourself. So it's almost like I need to figure this out so I don't have to repeat the pain that I was positioned in as a child. But I think it's really identifying what you value, right? Like the truth is, some people love to work. Some people never see themselves retiring. Now, some people value other things in life. And I think you have to identify what you value the most. Like, again, a 9 to 5 is great in so many ways because once it's 5 o'clock, you're done, right? Or maybe you even have like a 9 to 3, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's perfect, right? Maybe you have a 9 to 3 with like a very easy side hustle that only takes like 5 hours of your week, right? That may give you the exact lifestyle that you want. Everybody doesn't need to be multi-millionaires. You know what I'm saying? Everyone doesn't have to have their own business working 12, 14 hours a day. That is hell for certain people. You know what I'm saying? So it's really like, how do you want to live your life? And then position it like that. I remember when I used to travel to work, it took me like an hour and a half to get to work. And I told myself, there is no way in hell I want to travel every single day, an hour and a half to work because I'm losing 3 hours of my day. And I said, I just cannot do this. And I told myself, I need to figure out a way I can find a job that's closer to my home. Or then I told myself, I need to figure out a way I can work from home. Because I told myself, if my daughter is sick and she needs to stay home for the day, I want to be able to stay home for the day as well. So for me, the lifestyle I wanted was flexibility. And flexibility for me was taking things online. Now, if I wanted more community in the workplace, I wouldn't have chose the direction I've gone in because what I do is very isolating. I'm by myself, except for when I'm hanging out with y'all on live stream, but I work by myself. I come into my office. This is my office by myself. Because nobody else in my life does what I do, I can't even talk to many people about what I do. It's very isolating, but for the flexibility and the freedom it offered me and the type of lifestyle I wanted in this season of my life, that is what I went and accumulated, right? Again, if I was somebody who wanted to work around people and thrive off of that, I wouldn't have chose this. So it's really like identifying how do you want to live your life? And I think it's hard these days because we see the windows into so many other people's lives and we only see the highlights and like the fruit of it, but we don't understand the soil of it or the substance of it. And we think we want that life when really that life would be hell for us. Everybody doesn't need a career-driven life, you understand? Not at all. Maybe it means that you simplify your life a little bit. You don't spend as much. You don't need as much, right? Some people really don't care about certain material possessions. Some people don't care about having a brand new car. It does not matter, you know? So this is like all life design, something I'm actually really passionate about, right? Because the whole thing is we all want to be happy. And my happiness might be somebody else's hell, right? Somebody else's hell might be my happiness. You know, like doing what I'm doing right now, talking on camera for like an hour on the internet is hell for some people. They'd be like, I don't want to do that at 10 a.m. in the morning. That's awful. Me, I'm like, I love it. You know, a lot of value coming in for Sarah in the chat. I love it. See, this is why this is a community channel, right? Is everybody here has information of value and knowledge, right? So like the whole point of this is like for us to come together and share value. And I'm just guiding and directing the conversations. So if I don't have the answer, I'm throwing the ball to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the best answer is I don't have the answer. Yeah, 12, he says, yeah, and these days you can really package up your experiences and your information and sell it online and help other people out. So sometimes the struggles you are going through, and then you will become an expert at those struggles, and then you will help the next pack of people behind you who don't have to repeat the same anxieties and headaches that you made because you figured it out and now you're offering it for them and now you're a consultant. right? Now you're coaching people through that. Maybe, you never know, right? There's so many opportunities online. And I think if anyone's not really happy in like their current job situation and you have some type of free time, I just think exploring different side quests online is important, because who wouldn't enjoy an extra few $1,000s a month that's starting to come in passively online, right? Take some time to develop it, build it, and then it's kind of working itself with your management. Who wouldn't enjoy an extra $5,000 a month? Everybody would, right? That's an extra $60,000 a month, right? And if that's just on top of your main income at, like, let's say your job that you work at, maybe you work for a company you love, but then you also make an extra 50K, of course, why not? And there's opportunities like that now. 30 years ago, there wasn't. You can almost print money now. Think about a YouTuber who, posts videos and gets paid from the views. It's kind of like printing money, like you just make a video and upload it, and depending on how many views you get paid for it, right? It's like pretty simple process. That's why a lot of people do it. It's a pretty simple process. Nobody has to give you the money or give you the job. You go do it yourself. So I think it's really important to go online and like just see there's so many different little success stories and whatnot. And it's not like you have to like create like a multi-million-dollar business online. Because even for me, I realize I'm like, at this point in my life, I don't want to have like a bunch of employees. I recently just met somebody that had like 34 employees for their like for their company, and about 12 or 14 just for the social media team. I'm like, at this point in my life, I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that type of management at this point in my life. That would be hell for me. Now on paper, it sounds cool. On paper, it looks good, like Mr. CEO. But for me, nah, I don't want that right now. Maybe later in life or something else, but right now, no, I don't want that, right? So because I don't want that, I know in certain areas, I may not be able to scale up. That's the sacrifice I may have to make, right? Oh, because I don't want to have a massive team of people, I might not be able to scale up. Like, think about the diary of a CEO, Steven, how quickly he's grown his podcast and how successful it's become. He has 42 people working that podcast. 42 to make it that big and successful. I personally don't want 42 employees at this time in my life. Maybe in the future it will happen. I don't know. But the way I want to live my life right now, I don't want 42 people. So I would sacrifice elements of not being able to scale up how he scaled up, right? That's my life design. So knowing what you want, knowing what you want. And what you want may mean asking for less money. You know what I'm saying? Oh, maybe because I was talking to a couple buddies a month ago. We met up, and one of my buddies was saying how he's up every day, 4 a.m. He's working 12 hours a day, but he just had a child, and he's missing time with his child, and he's going to work like what's the point of working 14 hours a day when my child is growing at an immense speed? 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, every day there's something new that I'm missing. So for him, he's finding value and trying to find more time to stay at home, which means making less money, but the value he's getting is spending time with his child. So the time with his child is more valuable than the money at this moment in life, right? So it's really understanding what do we value and what do we want, and not being confused with everybody else's story. Because that's very easy, right? It's very easy to look at somebody and be like, let's say you're a creator and you look at Ali Abdaal and be like, oh my God, Ali Abdaal makes $5 million a year. Ali Abdaal also has a team of about 50 people, right? So Sarah says, I've thought about a marketing degree and publishing my first novel in the meantime. I love it. So when we're struggling in the job market and we're in between spaces, maybe it's an opportunity to, again, develop some other skills and produce a creative project, right? Maybe the downtime is necessary because, to be honest, my YouTube channel grew, y'all, when the pandemic hit. Why did it grow when the pandemic hit? Why didn't it grow before? Well, before I was very busy. I was doing video production for other people. I was the main video production for one entertainment company. I was doing all their marketing. Also, I was doing music videos for other people and other side quests. I barely had any time to come here and make a video. I only made one when I had a little bit of time and I was super inspired. When the pandemic hit, I couldn't shoot anymore and I had tons of time. I was in a slow season. I was making $0. I was actually going into debt because I was making no money because I was in the pandemic. I was stuck at home and I had all this extra time, but I had all this extra energy and information that I accumulated, and I decided to go online and share it with y'all. And because the soil was right and the environment was right, things blossomed, right? So sometimes our slow seasons are actually very necessary because they give us more time to explore certain things that we weren't able to explore in the season before, right? So sometimes you're making less money, but boom, 3 seasons later, you're making triple the amount of money because of what you did in that slow season. Now, if what you do in that slow season is just be full of anxiety and distracted and waste the opportunity, well, don't expect to reap anything 4 seasons later. Expect yourself to be in the same situation or worse. That's the unfortunate reality. So it's really taking our time and seeing the opportunity in it, because we have opportunity. Everything is accessible. All the information is accessible. You can learn anything you want. You can almost hit up anybody you want, like people are just like a DM away. But if we're distracted, if we're, not focusing, if we're not putting our energy in the right direction, the only person we can blame is really ourselves. So yeah. Tabitha says, I believe your channel grew because people were looking for a sense of stability to hold on to during the pandemic. That's actually 100% correct. And I say that often, is that like, it might not have grown without the pandemic, because at the time, people were locked inside by themselves, like Tabitha says, looking for a sense of stability and looking for a friend. And my content is very friendly in nature, So again, the time was right. Bobby says, cheers to that. Yeah, cheers to that. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Cheers to y'all. Cheers to the Most High. Cheers to the Creator. We out here in number 1 chill spot. I got a meeting in 9 minutes. This was a good stream. I should have recorded it to my camera. But yeah, slow seasons are actually blessings, right? But the rewards look different. In the faster seasons, often like the rewards are the material things, the things that we can see, touch, and smell. Slow seasons, the rewards can be internal, right? Internal rewards, right? We're crafting more patience. We're crafting a more perspective. We're rediscovering our why, our purpose. We're connecting with friends and family, so we're cultivating more love. These are inner rewards, right? Often in slow seasons. And we still get these rewards in faster seasons, but often slow seasons are calling us to go inwards. And like the faster, more output seasons, we're like, we're in a material world, so we're also experiencing those material rewards. And it's really important that we don't get addicted to those material rewards and put all our value on those material rewards, because then we lose sight of the rewards that we can craft within, and we can't honor the seasons that we're in. That's why, my bios always say our credentials are in our spirit, because I believe, when I was in Los Angeles back in the day, and I would meet people, and people would always like introduce themselves by their accomplishments. And it's really good to be proud of yourself. But like, if you're like, hey, if I ask you, hey, like, who are you? And they're like, I have an Oscar. It's like, I didn't ask you if you have an Oscar. And just because you have an Oscar doesn't mean that you're not a jackass, right? Like Harvey Weinstein has an Oscar. He's a jackass. So like when I ask you who you are, I'm actually asking like who you are. Like, hey, what's your name? Like, let's get to know each other, you know? So putting all value on external achievements can give a window into your hard work, your discipline, and maybe your ethic, your work ethics. But it doesn't mean it gives a window into like other aspects of your soul, right? Like you could do awful things and still, you know, have great material rewards. So it's having a good relationship with the internal and the external, right? It's not over romanticizing everything on the internal and forgetting everything on the external, because it is good to have those external rewards, you understand, and be proud of those. And at the same time, it's not good to over value everything on the external, because then we lack the things that truly make us who we are, which is, then like Jesus says something about, you know, like your treasures, store your treasures up in the heavens. I forget what it is. My apologies. Sarah Bella says, I've done a lot of inner work during this time in writing. I love that. I'm writing. I'm trying to finish. I'm trying to write a book as well. So I've been doing that, learning how to do that. I find it to be quite difficult. So when I am done, even if nobody reads it, I'm still going to feel like it's a win, because it was difficult to do. Yeah. Rosa says, I truly believe the season I'm in is leading me to focus on God and not the outside world, to fully depend on him, even though I don't know what the outcomes are. And that's a beautiful season, right? God, the Most High, the Creator, may be like, yo, you've been distracted. You've been distracted and you forgot about me. You forgot about me. Let me call you back in. Let me bring you back in. Let's reunite. Let's get intimate with one another again. You've been distracted. You know, I gave you all these material blessings and you forgot about me. What about God? Might just be jealous this season. It's like, yo, I need you for myself. You understand? I need you for myself. And God's like reeling you back in. You're like, I need you for myself right now. Let's get intimate. And that is beautiful. I actually resonate with that. It's been a season for that as well for me. Because, you know, that relationship with God, the Most High, the Creator, it's like, it's not always the same in every season. You know, it shifts, it evolves, it changes, it dips. It dips sometimes, you know, sometimes you may move into doubt and unbelief as well. And then you reunite, you get intimate again, and, you know, come back on better grounds. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. This is the #1 chill spot on the internet. This was a very beautiful stream. So 12, says Hines is a modest part-time comedian. You know what my one side quest in life is that I wanna one day go do stand-up comedy, and I'm just frightened to do it. But like one day I want to go do it, just for the experience. So that works very well. Part-time comedian. Yeah, you understand what it is. #1 chill spot on the internet. You know, we'll be back another day. I think tomorrow maybe a study stream if I have something to edit. If not tomorrow, then maybe Wednesday we're gonna do a study stream. And at the moment, the reminder deck is not available at the moment. The private community is not available at the moment. I'm in a slower season. I have closed everything down to rebuild and build back a lot sweeter. You understand? So thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll check you next time. One love. The video will be up as a replay if you want to run it back.